Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Michael Gallup's resurgence in Washington. Commanders training camp is one of the most compelling storylines as the team navigates its positional battles under the watchful eye of head coach Dan Quinn. After stepping away from football for a full year, Gallup's return has been filled with skepticism, curiosity, and now legitimate optimism. The former Dallas Cowboys standout, who once dazzled with his deep route separation and body control near the sidelines, is proving that he's not content to quietly fade from the NFL spotlight. What began as a comeback story has transformed into a real chance to crack a crowded and competitive wide receiver room. With the team gearing up for preseason matchups and the finalization of the 53-man roster looming, Gallup is refusing to go unnoticed. He's showing up every day with purpose, whether that's refining his routes, winning contested catches, or diving into the playbook with renewed vigor. His fire is unmistakable, and teammates are taking notice. It would have been easy for Gallup to stay in retirement, accepting the reality that the league had passed him by. After being released by the Dallas Cowboys and a short, uneventful stint with the Las Vegas Raiders, his passion for the game had dulled. But time away from the spotlight allowed reflection. He rediscovered the joy that football once brought him. The camaraderie, the grind, the feeling of being alive under the stadium lights. And so, when Washington came calling, Gallup saw an opportunity to redeem himself. Not just to fans or coaches, but to the version of himself that believed he still had something to give. It wasn't just about a contract or making a team, it became about reclaiming his love for the game. That motivation has fueled his every rep in training camp, and it's becoming harder for the Commanders brass to ignore his determination. Still, making this roster won't be easy. With Terry McLaurin a given, assuming his contract situation resolves, and fellow receivers like Deebo Samuel Sr., Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, and Noah Brown all looking like roster locks, the margin for error is razor thin. Adam Peters and Dan Quinn will likely keep 6, maybe 7 wideouts, leaving Gallup in a high-stakes battle with players like KJ Osborne, Chris Moore, undrafted standout Ja'Cory Brooks, and Mike Strachan. Every drop, every blown assignment, every missed block could be the difference between a spot on the team or another round of soul-searching. Gallup knows this. That's why you see him lingering after practice, working on footwork drills alone, asking questions in meetings, and being one of the last to leave the facility. He understands what's at stake, and he's treating every snap like it could be his last. Training camp narratives are filled with flash-in-the-pan stories. Players who shine under the July sun but fade when the pads come on and the stakes rise. Gallup is doing everything in his power to ensure he's not one of them. Despite missing mandatory minicamp with a hamstring strain, he's made an immediate impact upon returning, showing crispness in his roots and more physicality in contested situations than at any point in his career. Coaches have taken notice. Cliff Kingsbury, never one to offer praise lightly, has been vocal about Gallup's progress. Dan Quinn, too, appreciates the veteran's fight and leadership. While others are merely hoping to survive camp, Gallup is thriving in it, injecting life into a wide receiver room that's already brimming with talent. His comeback isn't about sympathy or second chances. It's about proving that when he's healthy and focused, he still belongs. Gallup's physical gifts have never been in question. Even in his Cowboys days, he was known for explosive leaping ability, clean route running, and making the kind of catches that made fans rise from their seats. But football isn't just about athleticism. It's about resilience, mentality, and seizing your moment. That's what's changed for Gallup this time around. There's a different look in his eyes. He's not coasting on reputation. He's grinding like an undrafted free agent trying to prove he belongs. And that hunger is palpable. Whether it's in individual drills or full team scrimmages, Gallup brings a level of intensity that's hard to fake. He's running with intent, blocking with aggression, and mentoring younger players along the way. That's the kind of presence that turns a bubble player into a locker room asset, something every coach values deeply when making those final roster decisions. But perhaps the most impressive part of Gallup's training camp resurgence is the poise he's displaying amid the pressure. Every player competing for a fringe spot knows the stakes. Yet Gallup isn't letting desperation cloud his execution. He's measured, focused, and playing within himself. He's not trying to do too much or make every play a highlight. Instead, he's stacking consistent days, catching everything within reach, executing assignments cleanly, and showing that he can be relied on in key moments. That reliability is what coaches crave when shaping a 53-man roster. Flash can get you noticed, but consistency earns you a job. And so far, Gallup is checking both boxes. The more he performs like this, the harder it becomes to envision a Commanders receiver room without him, especially with preseason games looming and starters expected to see limited snaps. The upcoming joint practices will be critical for Gallup. It's one thing to shine in controlled team environments, but competing against outside competition is where real evaluations happen. Every route run against a new cornerback, every adjustment to defensive coverages he hasn't seen before, every opportunity in live drills will weigh heavily in the minds of decision makers. Gallup understands that his window is narrow, but that hasn't shaken his resolve. In fact, it seems to be fueling it. He's already told reporters that he views this as the most important camp of my life, and his actions match that statement. The next few weeks will determine whether he's suiting up in burgundy and gold come week 1 or once again facing the uncertainty that haunted him a year ago. If nothing else, he's proven he won't go out without a fight. Fans have taken notice of Gallup's efforts as well. At open practices, you can hear the murmurs when he makes a leaping grab or breaks away from coverage on a deep post. He's no longer just a former cowboy or camp body. He's become a player people are actively rooting for. There's something about redemption arcs that resonate with sports fans, and Gallup's journey has all the emotional ingredients. Past glory, fall from grace, introspection, and a gritty return. It's a reminder that the NFL isn't just a game, it's a theater of human resilience, and Gallup is currently its star. Whether or not he makes the team, he's already won the respect of those who matter most. His coaches, his teammates, and the fans who show up each day hoping to see someone make the impossible comeback. Still, Gallup himself knows this isn't a movie. It's real life when real stakes come with it. He's not asking for handouts. He's not relying on past accolades. He's working like a man who knows every rep could be his last. And that urgency is driving him to reach levels that even he may not have thought were possible. Whether it's diving for underthrown balls, setting the tone and blocking drills, or calmly leading warm-ups for younger receivers, Gallup is making his mark. And when cuts start rolling in and the team finalizes its depth chart, don't be surprised if Michael Gallup is still standing, jersey on, helmet in hand, ready to write the next chapter in a comeback story that's far from over. Because in the heart of training camp, amid heat, sweat, and relentless competition, one truth has become clear. Michael Gallup isn't going away quietly. Not now, not ever. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. In the ever-shifting landscape of the NFL, rumors can swirl like a storm, and the latest winds have picked up around one of Washington's most electrifying talents, Terry McLaurin. Whispers are growing louder that McLaurin, a cornerstone of the Commanders' offense since his arrival, could be on the verge of a blockbuster move. The destination, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Sources close to the situation suggest the wide receiver's future in Washington has grown uncertain amid ongoing roster reshuffling and a new coaching regime. While no official deal has been announced, insiders claim conversations have taken place behind closed doors between both franchises. And what was once improbable now seems increasingly plausible. The buzz intensified after Dan Quinn, Washington's head coach, made a cryptic remark during a recent media appearance. When asked about McLaurin's status, Quinn simply said, "May he be happy in Pittsburgh," setting off a firestorm across NFL circles and igniting speculation that a trade might already be in motion. What makes this situation so compelling is the sheer surprise factor. Terry McLaurin has been the face of consistency for Washington, producing despite a revolving door of quarterbacks and coaching philosophies. His professionalism, leadership, and on-field performance have made him a fan favorite and one of the most respected receivers in the league. So for Dan Quinn to bid him what sounds like a public farewell is no small thing. It's a seismic shift in tone and message. It could also signify that Washington is leaning into a full rebuild under Quinn's leadership, parting ways with veterans to accumulate assets and mold the team in his vision. McLaurin heading to the Steelers would be a bold, league-shaking move. Pittsburgh already boasts a stout receiving core, but adding a player of McLaurin's caliber could elevate Kenny Pickett's development and redefine the team's offensive identity. The very idea of McLaurin donning the black and gold is enough to keep NFL pundits and fans talking for weeks. Digging deeper into this potential deal, what might Washington receive in return? That's the million-dollar question. Terry McLaurin is no average wideout. He's a Pro Bowl caliber receiver with years of productivity and gas still left in the tank. If the Commanders are indeed shipping him off, they're likely looking for significant compensation. Multiple draft picks could be on the table, or perhaps a player-for-player swap involving a young, high-upside talent. The Steelers, historically known for shrewd personnel decisions, wouldn't pursue this lightly. They'd need to feel confident that McLaurin is the missing piece to help them compete in a loaded AFC North. For Pittsburgh, this trade could represent a clear commitment to building around Kenny Pickett and adding another explosive weapon to a system that's been craving dynamic playmakers. McLaurin's crisp route running and ability to stretch the field would give defenses nightmares, particularly when paired with George Pickens and Deontay Johnson. Of course, speculation runs rampant in the NFL, and sometimes smoke doesn't mean fire, but there are indicators this rumor might hold weight. McLaurin has been unusually quiet on social media, avoiding the usual training camp hype posts and seemingly pulling back from the usual preseason promotional circuit. When asked recently about his long-term plans, McLaurin gave a vague answer about focusing on the now, which only added fuel to the speculative fire. Those close to the team have noted a change in the locker room dynamic, and McLaurin's absence from certain team bonding events has raised eyebrows. For someone as involved and engaged as McLaurin has always been, even small absences can speak volumes. Whether this is all coincidence or part of a larger narrative unfolding behind the scenes, fans and media alike are connecting the dots, and they point toward Pittsburgh. From the Steelers' side, adding McLaurin could be a masterstroke. Pittsburgh has long prided itself on drafting and developing receivers, but McLaurin would bring a proven veteran presence and playoff-level pedigree. It's not just his production that's valuable, it's his discipline, work ethic, and team first mentality. For a young quarterback like Kenny Pickett, having someone like McLaurin in the huddle could be transformative. His precise route running and understanding of defensive schemes would provide a reliable target in clutch situations, potentially elevating the entire offense's efficiency. The Steelers have been teetering between playoff contention and mediocrity the past few years, and this move could be what pushes them firmly into the contender category. While the franchise hasn't confirmed interest, several league insiders claim Pittsburgh has quietly inquired about McLaurin's availability, and a framework for a potential deal may already be under discussion. In Washington, this would undoubtedly be seen as the end of an era. Terry McLaurin represented everything the franchise claimed to stand for: resilience, leadership, and a blue-collar mentality. Trading him would signal a bold, possibly risky decision by Dan Quinn and the front office. It could alienate fans who see McLaurin as the heart of the team. Yet from a strategic standpoint, it might make sense. If Quinn is determined to reshape the roster and collect future assets, moving a star like McLaurin while his value is still high fits that blueprint. The key question is whether this gamble pays off or leaves Washington scrambling for answers. A franchise that has struggled for identity over the past decade now risks losing one of the few constants it had. But if the return is substantial and the vision clear, perhaps this is the painful but necessary move to usher in a new chapter. Let's not forget the human side of this rumor. Terry McLaurin has repeatedly expressed loyalty to the Washington organization, even amid its chaos and instability. He signed a contract extension, stayed quiet during the team's many controversies, and led by example. For him to leave now suggests something significant has shifted behind the scenes. Maybe it's philosophical differences with the new coaching staff. Maybe it's about maximizing his prime years in a system that offers a clearer path to postseason success. Or maybe it's simply business. NFL careers are short, and opportunities must be seized when they arise. The idea that McLaurin could walk away from a team he's bled for is heartbreaking to many, but it also underscores how complex and unforgiving the league can be. Pittsburgh, with its rich history and organizational stability, might just be the fresh start he didn't know he needed. One cannot overlook Dan Quinn's role in this unfolding saga. The head coach's comment, "May he be happy in Pittsburgh," was more than just a slip of the tongue. Coaches of his experience don't speak lightly, especially when it involves a franchise cornerstone. Was it a goodbye cloaked in diplomacy? Was it a calculated move to prepare the fan base for what's coming? Or was it a moment of honesty from a coach navigating the early turbulence of his tenure? Either way, it shifted the narrative instantly. Reporters and fans pounced on the quote, "Shibondaze," and Quinn has yet to clarify or walk it back. In an environment where language is parsed for hidden meanings, this statement stands as perhaps the clearest signal yet that McLaurin's time in Washington is nearing its end. And with training camps in full swing, the clock is ticking. If a move is coming, it could be imminent. Across social media, the NFL rumor mill has gone into overdrive. Mock-up graphics of McLaurin and Steelers gear are circulating, and fans from both sides are weighing in. Washington supporters are heartbroken but understanding, while Steelers Nation is cautiously ecstatic. Debate rages over what the appropriate compensation should be and whether this potential deal is worth the cost. Pundits are split. Some see this as a savvy, forward-looking move by both franchises. Others view it as a panic trade by Washington and an unnecessary risk by Pittsburgh. But one thing's for certain, the chatter won't die down until there's clarity. As of now, all eyes are on the Commanders' front office. Will they confirm the rumors, or is this just a smokescreen? Until then, speculation will continue to swirl, fueled by vague statements, unconfirmed sources, and the NFL's insatiable hunger for drama. Ultimately, whether this rumor proves true or fizzles out like so many others, it's already reshaping perceptions. Terry McLaurin to the Steelers is more than a hypothetical trade. It's a reflection of how quickly tides turn in professional football. It's about opportunity, timing, and risk. For McLaurin, it could mean a fresh chapter with a storied franchise and a shot at deep playoff runs. For the Steelers, it could be the missing link to reignite a championship culture. For Washington, it might be the first painful step in a long-term vision. Until official word comes, the NFL world waits, refreshes Twitter feeds, and scours for clues. But if Dan Quinn's farewell was more than just words, then fans better get ready. The Terry McLaurin era in DC may already be over, and a new one in Pittsburgh could be just days away from dawning. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.